Welcome to Message Reveal with an ED on the end. Message Reveal identifies a vibe, a message, or a story told through lyrics. And as we welcome our guests, I just want to say a few things about our guests. I met our guests in Boston on business, and when I walked into the room, she was snatched. And what I mean, snatched, her appearance was welcoming. She looked beautiful. She had this I don't want to, it's like a pinkish kind of sweater. And she was just, I was like, I got to get to know this young lady. So we did get a chance to talk for a few minutes. And I just enjoyed the conversation. And she embodied what she wanted for her community and the elevation for her community. So if you guys will please give a warm welcome to Miss Shirley Posey. Thank you for coming on board, beautiful lady.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be joining you on your platform today. So
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So before we get started, can you tell me something that makes you tick, make your blood boil, gives me that, I want to know about you.
So something that is so funny. So when something that makes my blood boil or tick, for sure, definitely is when people don't hold things that should be valued to value, right? So with social media, I'm a huge advocate for social media. But sometimes with social media, people can get misconceptions and put materialistic things at the forefront and miss out on major messages that are taking place. So I get on a soapbox when people are not paying attention to those things that really have value and worth. And the other thing that makes my blood boil or tick is when people have misconceptions about those of us that like to look good, smell good, and think that's all we are. It's just a pretty face, or look at those superficial things, right? But then when you open your mouth and they see that you have substance and something to really say, that changes. So really, that's the other thing. It's just really holding things, taking me superficial and not getting to know the inner parts of me.
Well, one of the things I always say, don't judge a book by the cover. So get to know the contents and the inside. So that's a good example of that. With that being said, where are you from, where you currently reside, and any other little pieces of your personal life you would like to share with us?
So I am a Southern Belle. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. Well, 45 minutes outside of Savannah. And I'm from a small town, grew up on a farm. I am a Southern Belle farm girl, traditional farm girl. From the country. When I still go home, I take my shoes off. I walk around barefoot.
I love
And
it.
that, yeah, and people wouldn't know that about me. Um, I grew up shucking corn. Shucking corn, picking peaches, snapping peas. That is my background. But I also grew up around being nurtured and developed by civil rights leaders. And so I didn't really understand how much they poured into me when we were shucking corn, snapping peas. Didn't realize that until now, as of recently, that is why I am the person that I am. It's because I was raised by these activists that really made a huge difference in the community. And to me, they were Nana, Uncle Clinton, Auntie, like they were cousin Charles, who I was named after his wife, Shirley. They were just these people to me. But then looking back retrospectively, I'm like, wow, I am who I am today is because I was raised around and developed by these phenomenal people that were game changers.
That is amazing. And it shows you that we have to drop seeds with our children
Mm-hmm.
because it helps them grow. in different ways. And you're a prime example of that. I'm glad you shared that. That may encourage other people to make sure you spend that time. And that time doesn't have to be anything big. Like you said, you were shucking peas and, shucking corn and popping peas. And during that time, you were learning different things, or a message was inserted into you. So I think that's an absolute blessing. With that being said, what do you do right now today? And does it resonate with you, or do you do the same thing with your children that you?
So when you say children, I only have one daughter, but I have multiple children now, right? Because of the line of work that I do. So my life and journey has brought me here to Philadelphia. And as of July, I became the director of STEM.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Whenever it's accomplishments, we got to clap it up.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you. And so when the CEO gave me the position, there was no format or blueprint for me. And one of the things that I have learned, and I'm a huge advocate of, and I encourage people, is that you need to unplug from everything so that you can hear. I'm a believer, so that I can hear from the spirit, right? In the
Yes.
direction and format and where I need to go, the strategy, because we could come up with all these different ideas and be moving. But with that, when we're moving, sometimes we allow the wrong thing. And I don't think it's intentional. Just because we're moving and not listening, we pick up on the wrong influences that drive our
Come
strategies.
on, talk
Instead,
that. Yes, you talking to somebody. Somebody needed to hear that, because everything that come across, because we're so programmed, it may not be for your good. So you talking some good stuff, honey. Come on.
And it looks like it, right? It looks like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is the route that I'm supposed to be taking, and it's really not, right?
Yes.
So I'm a huge advocate of taking time off, unplugging, not allowing anything external to influence you, and whatever it is that you plug and get. And I believe in the spirit. So listening to the spirit and seeing what direction do I need to go into. And
Yes.
so when I did that, I came back and he had given me a vision for the program, and really what he gave me was to cultivate a group of Black and brown leaders and allow them to address real world issues, because some people get misconceptions of STEM. Oh, it's just programming robots and coding. No, STEM is really getting people to be critical thinkers, to be creative, to be innovators. And within the STEM career field, what's going on, only 8% of the population is Black and brown that represents in STEM. So if
Wow.
there's no voice at the table for the voiceless, who's going to represent us? Who's going to
Yes.
be a voice that speaks up for these real world issues that are in our community, which is why we're at the bottom of the totem pole with a lot of things, not because we're not brilliant.
Oh, and
It's
say
because
that.
we have not been given opportunity. So what I do is develop programs and young people that address real world issues. And to say that it has been impactful is an understatement. And that's how you know that it's been aligned and ordained with what he wants. So.
That's right. I love that. And honey, I tap into the spirit. So we are in alignment on that. If I can just go back again, or reverse, I love that you said, and I've never heard it posed this way. And STEM is a big tagline. Everybody is using STEM, 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 STEM. But you connected it to real world issues. That makes it so valid. How did you align that? Because everybody talked about, like you said, all the different things, but what made you pull that part of it out?
So what made me pull that part of it out is when we're talking about STEM, we're looking at the idea of that it's causing you to think and to be a forward thinker and to be innovative and creative, right? So when we're looking at science, technology, engineering, and math, these disciplines actually cultivate that. They get you to understand how to think through these various processes, but then you have to take those skills that you learn, those thinking skills, not the actual, those thinking skills and those methods that you learn, and use them as part of the process to solve a problem.
Come
That's
on,
what
girl.
STEM
And
is.
that's what life is all about, solving problems, being able to navigate through life. So I love that. Like, you're bringing it in. That's beautiful.
Thank you so much. That's how you know that it's like not even me. I'm just a vessel, right? A tool. So it's just so and that's why I think it was a research study done back in 2020 during the pandemic, and they studied the top performing STEM program, which is in the world, which is in Singapore. And they said the only negative aspect of what doesn't work is it's not culturally focused or centered around. And so when you bring in culture into teaching people how to solve problems, that changes the game.
Yes.
A lot of people take that out because then it's like, what you see for CDC. CDC puts up all, they are really good at transmitting education, but it only resonates with a certain group of people.
Yes. Yes.
Not because one group is more superior than the other. It's one group processes things a little bit differently because of our cultural influence.
Yes.
Our cultural influences determine how we think, our font sway, what we like, how we learn information. It really is. And so people take that out the picture and it's just like, well, why are they still doing this? And we put the information out for you all. Why don't you? But it's not that. And so I think when you add in culture into the picture, you develop a whole new thing, a whole new being. And I think that's why our STEM program works so beautifully here, is because it's influenced also by culture.
I love that. I think you're giving people a new way of looking at things and making sure they include culture. I've never heard that even said. So, girl, keep pouring that wisdom, keep giving me that good stuff, as they say, because we definitely need it. We need to be able to look at things from different perspective, and you have definitely given us a different way of looking at the STEM program. So I thank you, and sharing the statistics and the backgrounds. We just needed to know that because I was not familiar, and I've participated in STEM projects, but the way you gave it to us, I've never heard it like that. So thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Before we transition into our reason, well, one of our reasons for being here, I asked my guests to give their a life-changing event that really resonates with them. And they have the opportunity to do it through lyrics of a song. Now, it's rules to this. It's rules, sis. One of the rules, if you can sing, I need you to sing your throat box out. If you can rap, I need you to rap it, baby. But if you can't do any one of those things, I need you to say it boldly and with meaning and with heart. So, can you give us something, a lyric that really stands out for you, that shaped your life and really resonate with you right now today?
So one of the things, I'm gonna try to do this without getting emotional. We Project Coogee Chocolate, addressing underserved communities and giving them access to clean water, was one of the initiatives. And we started off going to Jackson, and we transitioned. The next area we went to was Ghana.
Can I jump in real fast? You said Jackson. Was it Jackson, Mississippi?
Yes, Jackson, Mississippi. And when we did our research, because at first it was just in social media, like, oh, they're having a water crisis, they need water bottles. But when we begin to do our investigation, I pushed the students to do research, right? We found out that's not a new thing. In fact, when we went down there, a man had been boiling his water for 30 years.
Wait, excuse me. That's a pause moment. We're in 2023. So I'm saying 30 years. He's been doing that since maybe 1993.
Boiling his water. So their water comes out black and brown in the United States of America. And they have to literally boil their water before brushing their teeth, washing their face, like we had to do when we were in Keta in Ghana. We could not use the water I had to about all of everyone that went on the project. You had your own personal bottle of water, and we had to wash our face and brush our teeth with that bottle of water, very similar to in Jackson what they've been doing in those underserved communities in the United States of America.
This is mind blowing. And what are the long-term health effects for doing that? That is absolutely insane. It really is.
Insane. And I think that it wasn't, and so it had made such an impact on the citizens of Jackson. The news, their ABC News channel came out, filmed it that night, and it was such an uproar that these teenagers from Philadelphia came to give out 3D printed water filters that the mayor called a press conference. And it became so real to my students, I call them STEM ambassadors, because we partnered with medical students. So everything we had is validated.
Legit.
Yes, very much so. So we partnered with medical students on distribution and how it works. And so one of their parents had came out. But before that, when I was working with the medical students, they said it feels like when they moved to Jackson, it felt like they moved to a third world country because the water was so horrific. So then one of the students, you can already probably tell what they look like, where they come from, what kind of what community they live in. So when they were my STEM ambassadors giving out the water filters, their parents said, oh no, we don't need it. And they were looking like, you don't need it. They were like, well,
Wow.
no, just give it to someone else because our water is good.
But that shows you that they've been in that environment so long, they've acclimated to it. And
No. Their water was clean. Nothing was wrong with the parents of the medical students. So you had some medical students' parents there just supporting the event. They live in Jackson, but nothing was wrong with their water.
Oh, so it's two different demographics was there. And what you're saying is this. They didn't need it, so they said, no, give it to someone else, but they wasn't solving the problem for whoever that lives right down the street.
Exactly. And it became real to the STEM ambassadors that I took at that moment, because they're like, wow, this really is a thing where they're only helping out or solving the issues and nobody in one community and not the other. And nobody said anything.
That's embarrassing. And Jackson should, and I'm not trying to poke fun at anything, but come on, this is your whole city or your whole state that you represent. When you want everyone to be able to have clean water. Wow.
Exactly. So the mayor called a press conference. So then it really ignited a fire in the STEM ambassadors. Just so they're like, what's next? What do we do next? And so Ghana, we went to Ghana. And so just preparing for that. Now water filters, and this is just I'm a scientist. So just with water filters, depending on the contaminants of the water, determines what kind of filter you need. So we had to redesign a new water filter and come up with new water filtration systems specifically for Keta, because their contaminants were different from Jackson's contaminants.
Wow.
So it was so many things being thrown, so many things, so many challenges. And I remember being on a plane and I was like, Lord, is this really going to work? Like, and he kept saying, somebody's praying. And so the song, so it was just like, I mean, just being honest, it was so much that I was going to turn in my letter of resignation. When I
Wow.
said, when I got back, I'm trying not to get emotional now,
No,
but
no, but we
I'm
want
gonna
this.
say,
We want to see it because you're going to help somebody with this.
yes. And so it was so much. And I was just like, am I doing the right thing? Is this what you're supposed to be doing? I was just remember being on that plane. I was just like, Lord, is this the right thing? Like, and he kept saying, somebody is praying in that village.
Ooh.
And the song that came to me that always grounds me, that always keeps me is God Is by Daryl Cooley. And Kanye West's choir remade the song. Really good arrangement, but I can't sing, but it's God is the joy and the strength of my life. He moves all pain, misery, and strife. He promised to keep me and never to leave me. He's never ever come short of his word. I have to fast and pray, stay in the narrow way. I'll keep my life clean every day. He promised to keep me and never forsake me. He's never ever come short of his word. God is. And so
Oh
that
my
is the
gosh.
song that kept playing. I was just like, I kept playing. I was like, he's with me. He's not going to leave me. We had to get to this village, be let out. First of all, getting to the neighboring village, we were let off there down this road that was washed out. And I'm going to send you the documentary, Washed Out. So we had to wade through the water. We got to this neighboring village, had to walk 20 minutes through this woodland jungle type area in this narrow road, got to marsh swamp area, had to take a 20-minute canoe ride and with our equipment.
Wow.
So that was a song I was just like, we're good because he's not going to leave us or forsake us. And I kept saying that song over and over. And so then after they saw the water literally change from this brand, they had been drinking swamp water and using their monthly income going to the hospital because they were getting sick from the swamp water. Ooh. When they saw that water change from brown swampy water, I want everybody to imagine this, literally to clear Dasani drinking water, and they started rejoicing. We were all, even my STEM ambassadors, these teenagers just began to weep unconsolably.
Wow.
And the chief said, we have been praying.
Wait a minute. No. I'm being real serious. I need people to understand the power of prayer. And I don't want to get teary-eyed because that's also connected to the song that you just talked about. Somebody is praying. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but I need people to understand when you cannot do nothing else, tap into that prayer life. But go ahead. I just had to say that because I'm getting full.
And going back to the lyrics of the song, he promised to leave us and never forsake us. So they said they had been praying and asking God. And then we had a translator. So it made it even more like, so he said he'd been praying and asking God who was going to help us. Oof. And so when it talks about he's never, ever come short of his word, it's no way. And it encouraged me so much. I'm like, if he could, somebody that's all the way, mind you, we took a journey to get there.
Yes.
In the jungle, through the marsh, in a canoe, to this remote island with no TV. They had battery operated radios.
Wow.
And if he could hear them, do you not think?
Come on.
that he is going to walk away and say, all right, I'm done with you. No, he said he made a promise that he's not going to leave or forsake me, and that he hears and he's concerned even about the little things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that song was really pivotal in my life. And it's just simple. God is, period, point blank. There's nothing else to say after that.
It really isn't, but I need you to understand that you have to understand you did not abandon your assignment. You had an assignment, even though you was thinking, should I give up? This is too much. That song kept you, and look what your testimony is today. So let's give a clap for what God can do. And it's not anywhere that message that cannot connect. So that is such a beautiful thing. Um, if I can ask, how many of your ambassadors took the trip with you?
So how many took the trip? It was 16 students.
Wow.
16 students from Philadelphia. And it's like it was very encouraging because the entire city of Philadelphia, once they found out, it felt the whole city was behind us with this. Because in the city of Philadelphia, if you just Google and look at teenagers in Philadelphia, you're going to see all these negative narratives painted, right? And I told you I lose a student every year from gun violence. So to see them come in and they're like, we're really changing the world and really giving. And that's what they said in the village, that water is life. And they said, we really gave life to a village.
Yes.
And so that was phenomenal. Then the Philadelphia Eagles, I was able to get a partnership with them, and they documented and paid for the documentary, and then gave us a nice contribution towards it. So they believed in the project, and so it was documented very nice. But it was just took 16 of them, but it really was like more than 16 because they took the spirit of their friends and their peers. And so yeah, it's beautiful.
I love that. What a amazing journey. And to have this documented, your daughter will be able to know that mommy did this. She was a part of this process. And not only that, you encourage, I guarantee you, somewhere 10, 15 years down the line, one of those children that you took with you on this journey will be able to connect back and say, I made a difference because I was a part of this process. And I think that is absolutely, again, amazing. Um, with that being said, we'll transition into a question I have for you about song. Can you identify a song that you sang as a child? You had no idea what it meant until an adult. And we've all had those aha moments.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna have that's so funny. So I am a church baby. I told you I'm from the South. So it's in church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No, we were in church a lot, but
that's okay.
I'm a church baby. I'm sorry.
No. It could be any song. This comes from your perspective. So
my perspective, yes. So then definitely my perspective, because we were in church all the time, and one of our pastors used to get up and sing this song, and then, as they say, catch the Holy Ghost. And catch the Holy Ghost, it would be screaming. I was just like, why is everybody so emotional right now? I was like, get ready. As soon as he picked up the mic, we knew what he, as kids, we're like, we know what he was gonna sing. And after church, playing around, and we'd be like, all that stuff.
Y'all was clowning.
Yes. And so it was that, but the specific song was My Soul Has Been Anchored in the Lord. And I didn't realize until later on in life what that actually meant, what was the meaning of that. And so that's one of the songs when it talks about having an anchor, really being bound in and having a stronghold in something. And when you get older, you can have a lot of strongholds in a lot of things, and you can be tied up and connected to a lot of things. But when your soul is anchored into something that is so sustainable
Yes.
and so strong, um, it's it's a different type of way you move. So I didn't quite understand that those people that were praising God at that moment, those people in the church, they had been through some things.
Yes.
And if it was not for their soul being anchored, then their life could have went their result could have been totally different. So seeing now that when you go through fires and your soul is anchored in something so strong, it's a different type of and it's a different type of result, I think, that comes from that. Definitely, like, I get it now, like, and I never understood that growing up, but now I'm just like, child, some of the stuff that I went through, if I was not anchored.
Yes. Yes.
And even like confrontations that you have, just so many things, like, especially in today's world, you can be connected to some stuff and you wonder why when you go through certain things in life, or when people go through certain things in life, it's they go through it a little differently, like it's a little bit harder than some other people. It's because
Yes.
of the source that you're connected to.
Okay, that is very true. Foundation is everything. Even
Mm-hmm.
when we get to the point where we're tired, the foundation can go right in, pull you out and say, "No, you made from something greater. You're connected to something greater. You are the greatest piece in this puzzle," and it keeps you going. So whew, come on now. Foundation anchored. I love it. I love it. As a child, you say you grew up in the church. As you transition into adult or as a child, we've all had that first time where we can purchase our first CD, song, tape. Can you provide me with something that you were able to purchase on your own where your parents had no influence on, you just gravitated to this particular song or CD or this artist and you like, "Hey, I'm going to purchase it."
So it was Brandy.
Okay. Okay.
It was Brandy. And it was Have You Ever? Had that song, Have You Ever Loved Some? Don't ask me.
Yes.
But when I think about it now, it's really because I really do love very hard. And I'm not even talking about specifically a man, but
Mhm.
when I love something and I'm passionate about it, that's just what it is. Put um I put my all behind it. And
Yes.
so, have you ever loved somebody so much it makes you cry? And I don't think those tears necessarily have to be sad tears.
I
And it's have
agree.
you ever needed something so bad you can't sleep in? It doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. So definitely that was I used to be singing my little heart out on Brandy. Have you ever? And that was
Yes.
my first CD that I purchased for myself. And they used to have the single CDs out
Yes.
then. So that was the first one. Yeah.
Wow. I love that. Go ahead. Shout out to Brandy.
I
Woo.
know her voice is incredible.
Yes, and it is still who she is. She has standards, and I love to see so many of the young artists give her credit for even I think I'm trying to think it was somebody recently, I can't think of who it was that gave her credit, like talking about the tones and textures of her voice. And she can be really
Mm.
like that deep, 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 but she can go high. And she's phenomenal. And I'm glad to see people give her credit for who she is. So shout out to Brandy again. I'm a bit,
And
yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry to cut you
No,
off.
no.
And I was gonna say she's been through a lot of public, what they would say humiliation, or some very trying things in the public. But I love the way she carried herself through it.
Yes.
And granted, we don't know how she was behind closed doors, but how she carried herself in interviews or in the public eye, I don't think a lot of that was her PR prepping her that much,
That was that foundation, her mother, that anchor. They come from a church background. So mama gave her what she needed.
Mm.
And I won't just say mom, she's probably connected to God as well. But that may be an example as well, why she was able to overcome.
Wow, that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that, but she went through, because remember she said she was married and
Yes.
she wasn't,
Well,
and then she got
let's pause for a minute.
Mhm.
Her saying she was married, that may have been influence from people in the outside world that's coming in. And this is just my perspective. I don't know for sure. This is all assumption, but how many people have been put in that situation where they said things to be able to go along with the get along, and that's not how they're living their life. They had that pressure.
Wow.
And we don't want people to live your best life and be who you are, and let people accept you for who you are. And I'm not saying anything bad about her choices. I'm using it as an example that sometimes that outside pressure make you feel like, oh, I have to do this, or I have to be married, or I'm no good if I don't do that. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was a great example.
Yeah, that was a really good point. I love what you just said there. That's really good. Yeah, and I love that. Yeah, because she went through a lot of stuff in the public eye, and the car accident, and
Yes.
it was just a lot. And I'm just, like you said, she has a really good foundation from her mom, and she publicly says that too. So yeah.
Yeah, yes. So I'm a big believer in celebrating good times. We have to celebrate the good times. Anytime I hear a group of people chatting or saying lyrics of a song together, is typically an elevated energy. It's a celebration. Like, for example, a happy birthday song, or what is it? His name. I started from the bottom, now we're here. That's
Uh-huh.
usually in a graduation, and everybody's singing it together, and everybody is just feeling it. Can you identify a song and share with us something that you've participated in, or you've seen a group say it together, and you're like, wow, I'm feeling those lyrics?
This Girl Is on Fire by Alicia Keys.
Okay.
Come on. Yes.
Yes.
And even my daughter does it now. Like, she'll be in the house and she'll be like, "This girl is on," and I'm
Yes, we need those songs. We
yeah,
need
we
those songs.
do. And I think it's so empowering. Like, even if you're not having a good day and you hear that this girl is on fire, she's walking on fire. Like, walking on fire. Okay? And
Yes.
I got my feet on the ground, and I'm not gonna. Yes, I am.
Yes.
So I think that's also like a really good hype song. Like, I'm really like, even like, if you feel like you're alone, getting in that mirror and reciting some lyrics to a song to hype your own self up. Sometimes you
Yes.
have to do that, and you have
Yes.
to get in a mirror and you say, "I'm not backing down. I got my head in the clouds." Like, you have to literally, when I'm at my lowest, then it feels like I got a whole crowd of people around me joining in, like, "Yeah, girl, you got
That's
this.
right.
Yes, like, you are on fire. I don't
Well,
care what."
and it's true. It's true.
Yes,
Once you do identify with that, and now you're hyped up, that energy that was trying to take you down is now gone, and it's replaced with, "Look, I'm ready for it. What we doing? How we doing it? I'm ready to take over the
yeah.
world." But we have to be able to do that for ourselves. Now, it's times that we will have people in our life that will encourage us, but I'm a big believer we have to tap into our source, our foundation, our anchor, and that's what we need to do to say, listen, I got to move on. So I love that. This girl is on fire.
Yes, that's like my go-to hype song, like definitely for sure. And I just also just want to encourage, like you said, tapping into that. That sounds okay. The first time you may like that sounds crazy, but no, try it when you at your lowest instead of like saying, cause okay, right? You having a moment and you cry, you get your you can stay there and wait for somebody, like I just need somebody to come along and or either you can get yourself and look in the mirror, tears and all, and be like, no,
come on, give
I'm
them
trying
a
to tell
word.
you,
Give them a
power.
word. Yes. Come on, we having church.
Yourself, okay?
Come on. Come on.
And when we sit there and we'll try to wait for somebody, like, ain't nobody call me, ain't nobody text me.
And then that's when the ugliness come in, because now you start to feel sorry for yourself because you're like, I'm not hearing from nobody. But God is like, hey, listen, long as you got me, tap in and we'll encourage each. God will encourage you. So you're absolutely right. But
yes. And it was this thing on this trend on social media where now I can't think of his name. He was a rapper from like not 100 Degrees, but he was with Cash Money. And so it was just like going into work. You a paper chaser, you got your block on fire, you know what it is. You make nothing out of something, you handle your business.
Come on.
You decide what it is. And I'm just like, yes, that's how you have to be. And then you saw the girls mood change, like, yeah, I'm a paper chaser, I got my block on fire, I know what it is. I make nothing out of something, I handle my business. I'm just like, that's what you literally, that's a good example of that trend. Like, really, like your mood could be in one way, but just encouraging and motivating yourself changes your perspective and how you view things.
Listen, music is so connective. If I need to go hard in the paint, I have a song. If I need to be gentle, I have a song. If I need something to uplift my spirit, I have a song. And lyrics are so connected to that. So this is what it's all about. And everybody can associate with some form of music and some lyrics that have connected them. And it also takes you back in time. Soon as you hear a song and you go, oh, I remember I was in junior high school, or I did this, or I remember I was with my mom. So music is such a beautiful thing. And that's why I highlight that on this particular platform. And I'm so thankful that people participate and really, really resonate from their heart these memories or these connected ideas through lyrics. Before we get out of here, can you share a lesson that you have learned from a friend, a family member, or a foe? And what I mean by foe, we know that's enemies that you've learned and you apply to your life today.
A lesson that I've learned is sometimes people will try to place fear on you because they are not sure of their gift.
Wait, I'm gonna stop you. I need you to say that one more time because that was so powerful. And I think it happens so often that people are not aware. So you just have to say it one more time, then go ahead and say what you have to say.
So I was saying that people will try to place their fear on you because they're unsure of their gift. And so going back again to a study, right, looking in the natural, a study said that only like 30% of the population, I think it's less than that, actually live out their dreams and their goals.
Ooh, honey, you are blessing somebody.
Only 30%. And actually, I think it's less than that. out of 100% of people, out of the population, only 30%. So then you ask yourself, why is that? Because everybody will say, oh, I got an idea, I got a dream, I got goals, but only 30% of those people are living that out. And so you ask yourself why, and a lot of that is fear. And a lot of that comes from allowing other people, out external factors, to place that fear on you and to stop you because they're unsure of their gift, or they're unsure of their calling, they're unsure of their purpose. So then they put those negative factors and fear factors on you, like, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure if you do that? Are you, because they're unsure.
Listen, you are blessing, you are teaching, you are prophesizing. That is amazing. 30%. Listen.
That's
wow.
It. And it's because that fear factor, and that's not even coming from you. You allowing somebody else
Preach.
to influence what you do. Yes. And that's why people have to, and let me stick with the question that you asked me. And that was one of the lessons that I had to learn. I moved 11 and a half hours from my family. I have no family here, like immediate family here in Philadelphia. So literally, and I'm a single mom. And so many a times they'll say, oh, you should just come back home because it'll be easier, right? You have your support group, but that's not what God has for me, right? Oof. That's not my purpose. So if I allow other people to have influence, like, you know what, it would be easier for me to just go home and I'll have, you know, my family there to help me out with my daughter, physically help out with my daughter, you know, where would I be?
But you would be missing your dreams. You would not be here. I would not have met you. So you're still on your assignment, and you understand that even though they have a love for you, and sometimes family can be the biggest ones that will impart fear because they've experienced something, and they think they're being protective, but they're giving out fear. And no shade, it's out of love, but you understood that. You were able to dial it down and say, no, I still need to do what I'm doing, because if you were back home, you may not have the opportunities you have right now.
No, or just specifically the purpose he has for my life. And I think that's what people have to realize. We look so much at other people's what they doing, what they got going on. So we're not dialing into what everybody has a purpose. And when you realize that, that takes out a lot of insecurity and jealousy spirit, because you walking in your I know he has something specifically for me. For me, and he has something specifically for you. But if I'm so focused on what you doing, how things ain't going right for me, woe is me, then you got people, because misery loves company and negativity attracts that wants you to be negative too. So then you around those people were like, well, you know, that with the gossiping spirit, and they always got something negative to say, and so you aren't realizing your potential or the gift that you have, right? Yes, yes. And that's why only a certain amount of the population lives out their dreams, their goals, are those innovators and game changers in the world.
You know, that is mind-blowing. Girl, you have given a laundry list. Check, check, check. You've given so much perspective on how we see the world. You've even blessed me. So don't think that it's just from our audience. It has been a blessing for me to look at that 30%. And now every time I talk, I'm going to talk about that 30% that get it. And we need more people into that 30%. Because even for me, with this podcast, it had been on my heart for many, many years, and I wanted to do it. And I'm finally moving forward and doing it. And I'm absolutely enjoying every moment of it. With that being said, before we get out of here, who is your favorite artist of all time and why?
This is such a hard one for me because I'm like such a mixture of genres.
Well, give me two then. Give me two or
Okay,
three.
okay. I would have to say that I listen to like the most of their music. I'm sorry. I should so I'm torn between two,
Well,
right?
give me both.
Okay. So one is Kirk Franklin.
I listen. No, look. I smile. You can go on and on. He actually really was a catalyst for me to really, really love gospel music. The fun
Wow.
part of it, like the hype part of it, and he got a lot of flack for doing that. They're like, "Oh, he's in the world," but what he did, he took a whole teenage young adult and brought them into that world. So let's give Kurt Franklin
Yes.
a clap for doing that. And who else? Oh,
Kirk Franklin for sure. And as of recently, what I've been playing like a lot of is Burna Boy.
okay, come on, girl.
Yeah, like definitely
Give
after
me one of
coming
his songs. Give me one of his songs that you really, really like.
alone.
Okay, and I don't know the lyrics to it, so if you can give me a couple of.
So he's basically in the song talking about people things that have come into his life or come like even he says in there like the knives that have been take the knives out of my back, and it's just like don't let them dance over my dead body. But he's just like yes. And he said, and don't leave, he said, Holy Father, don't leave me alone. So and you will miss that because he has it's that Afro beats, right?
Yes.
Because he's Nigerian. And so you'll miss that, but his lyrics are like really deep. Like even that song that's popular, last, and everybody gonna break fast. Now,
Yes.
yo. But if you listen to the lyric, like you're like, wow, Burna Boy is really talking about this lyric. So
Wow.
definitely the Burna Boy, and I think just is definitely my two, because then he's you know what, he's like Kirk. He's not a how Kirk Franklin has like a blend of genres in his,
Yes.
but it's gospel, but it's still like a blend of genres in Kirk Franklin's music. Burna Boy is like that with the Afro beats music where it's a blend of genres, but the lyrics are so powerful. So that's why my two favorite artists, Kirk Franklin, that's the OG, and then Burna Boy, definitely I could pull up his lyrics and he could take me up, down. Like I really like those two. Those are my two favorite
Well, I'm
artists.
gonna tap into that song alone, and I'm gonna listen to the lyrics and get in depth in that.
It was on what is it, Wakanda Forever.
Oh, okay.
Yes. One of his
Awesome.
songs was on Wakanda Forever. I think he has a couple of songs on Wakanda Forever, but
Well, I'm gonna tap in and do some research. So
mhm.
before we get out of here, before we leave, I love for my guests to be able to provide any social media platforms, any contact information, any upcoming events that you have coming up. If you can share with the audience.
Yes, so I will be a guest speaker at the Model School Conference in Orlando, Florida.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. In June, coming up, like I think it's in 2 weeks. So I'll be there doing 3 sessions about cultivating global leaders in STEM. Thank you. We also have Harvest Day coming up. So if anyone is in the Philadelphia area and would like some fresh premium crops, we actually have kale, butterhead lettuce, collards, and basil. This is our first harvest.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Yeah. So we have that. And then I am opening up for the summer to for any type of professional developments and speaking engagements. You can contact me at Shirleyelleposey on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, and that's Shirley Posey Posey. And you can email me. Yeah, you can email me there as well. So those are the two major things that have coming up for me. Yes.
Awesome. This has been absolutely amazing. I feel like I've been in school and I'm learning. And this is what the platform is, to entertain, to learn. And I feel like I did both today. You have been just phenomenal. I wouldn't even, truly, in our conversation, I would never know that would come up again. I'm just so taken back about the 30%. And every time I get a chance to share that, I definitely will. So thank you for sharing that with us. Before we get out of here, I always tell the audience one thing: the journey is just as important as the destination. The journey is where we learn and we grow, and the destination is where we celebrate. Now, here's the key to it all: we can't celebrate too long. We have to go back into that journey so we can continue to learn. And anytime I have a woman guest on, I bow to them. So I will bow to you
Oh, thank
and
you.
say thank you for saying yes to me. We will be friends for many, many years. You can't get rid of me now. I will
Same
always
here.
I will always call and check in, and I'm just so proud of your accomplishments. I can see so many more things for you in the future. It's no limit for you. And I bless you from the crown of your head to the bottom of your feet. And I ask all of the angels, when you travel, when you're in a place that you don't feel safe, that you're protected, because we need to have people like you to continue to share what you just shared. So, before we get out of here, I ask my audience to not follow me, but join me for the next episode of Message Reveal. And you guys, is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here, Miss Shirley?
No, just thank you so much. And thank you. You blessed me and you didn't even know me. You poured into me. We were getting ready to walk back in and you spoke a word over my life and just encouraged me. And I kept hold of that because you didn't know me, but it was you just allowed yourself to be a vessel at that time and you were not afraid. When we were talking about that fear, you were not afraid because you didn't know me and we were at a professional business event, you know what I mean? And for you to say that, that really encouraged me. And I was just like, wow, God really does love me.
Wow.
And so thank you for doing that because I really have held on to that.
Oh, girl, you
Especially
can.
and I'm being so genuine and honest because of just the challenges. And I was just like, well, no, he sent her to actually say to encourage me.
Wow.
And so I just thank you for that. And I bow to you and I want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Everybody, please give my amazing guest, Shirley Posey, a hand. Thank you. Yay. I appreciate you. And again, I bow to you, and we'll talk soon.
Yes, we'll talk soon. Thank you so much for having
Thank
me.
you.